Welcome to the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. We are still complying with local health authority plans for in-person proceedings, and so we are still conducting these via Zoom. However, to comply with the open courts provision of the Texas Constitution, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public has meaningful access to what occurs inside a courtroom. This is still a court proceeding, so I would like to remind everyone, please behave appropriately for court, and please have your camera on. Please refrain from having bright lights from behind your head, as that tends to shadow out your face. No portion of this court proceeding may be broadcast, copied, or published. Violations are punishable by contempt of court of up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. So we'll go and start with Ahmad Blonde. All right, Ahmad, are you here? Ahmad Bland. Detention, do we have Ahmad Bland coming? All right, we'll go to Janiyah Farand. Janiyah Farand.
Your Honor, this is mine. It's an out of custody.
Okay. Do we have the child?
Hey, Judge, it's Daniel. They're here. I'm sorry. We had a delay, so I couldn't hear you call her.
All right. So, Janiyah, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm making a decision whether to take you into custody or to leave you in the community. By taking you into custody, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. McCoy is your attorney. I don't think I saw her, so I'm going to ask Ms. Mills to step in. So, all right. So, Janiyah, let's see. You're 16 years old. You are on probation for theft of property. Looks like a shoplifting case. You got arrested a month later for engaging in organized criminal activity, which the DA considered in your probation. And then last year in May, you were brought in on a case of an assault causing bodily injury. And then you were let go, and 2 weeks later, you were picked up for assault bodily injury. Those are both dismissed. So here we are just on probation. So let's see, last Friday, you did not come home from school. Mom called you in as a runaway. You came back at 8 o'clock. Evidently, you make it a regular practice of not coming home from school until late in the evening without permission. Mr. Spencer says November 10th, 2021. So what's the correct date?
The correct date on what, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm reading your notes, and it's referencing November 10th of 2021, which is in the future. So is that wrong month or wrong year?
Wrong month. Sorry.
Wrong month?
It was this month.
This month. Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm saying on the next sentence, it says November 10th, 2021.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I don't have that report in front of me.
Oh, okay.
I've got an old one. I accidentally.
It was about saying the DA's office agreed that the DA would dismiss an assault bodily injury case. That's probably last year.
Yes, Your Honor, that was from last year.
Okay.
And she's continued to hang out with this young lady.
Yeah, so last year in November, DA said they would dismiss the case if you complete deferred prosecution and have no contact with Tiberia Heron. And school is telling your mom that she's leaving class with Ms. Heron on a regular basis. So, well, all right. Whoever's on HPOD, y'all need to be quiet and stop interrupting court. All right, Janiyah. Well, what Mr. Spence is asking is to place you on EM to make sure you correct your behavior. I disagree. I think fundamentally the problem is you're not listening to your mom. If you don't respect your mom, you're going to get nowhere. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and detain you. You can show that you can follow the rules and behave. I'm willing to let you go. But right now, this is not a slap on the wrist. It's not merely about hanging out with this person and breaking my rules. What I'm really concerned about is you're just disrespecting your mom like this. I'm not going to put up with that. All right, so Janiyah, we'll see you in 10 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mills. Alejandro Guajardo.
Yes, sir.
By the way, I removed all of HPOD because they couldn't stop talking, and that's the detention staff.
Yes, sir.
All right, Alejandro, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 10 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. And you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to be silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Sierra, your attorney has requested this hearing. Mr. Sierra, for what purpose did you request this hearing?
Your Honor, at our last detention hearing, my client was a level 1O, and you detained him for reasons that he had not been evaluated as of yet. That was when you made a specific order that he get evaluated within 48 hours. Since then, we got the results back, and now my client is being medicated. And because now that he's being medicated, mom is willing to take him home, bring him to court, make sure that she continues with the medication. And for that reason, Your Honor, I think now the court's in a better position to make a determination of his release that the court wasn't ready to do at that time previously. And my client is still a level 1O, and we respectfully request, Your Honor, if you release him.
So we have mom here. Does mom speak English?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so one of my big concerns is about your safety. If I was to release Alejandro, are you worried about your safety?
No, sir.
Okay. You're sure about that? You're not just saying that?
No, I'm sure about that.
Okay. So Mr. Kroll, how long has he been on this medication? Is somebody here for Casey?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I think Mr. Kroll is tied up in another court hearing.
Okay. The notes from Mr. Kroll say he's restarted his medication. I'm just wondering how long he's been on his medication.
I'm not entirely sure. The way I interpreted it is that after he met with Dr. D, I assume that's when he went back on the two medications. But I'd have to check.
How long have you been taking your medication?
I
Tasha,
got
look, hold on a second. Tasha Renee, don't move around. It's distracting everyone else in court. And don't have a bright light behind your head either. That's distracting. We can't see your face. I mean, this is still court, people. All right, so Alejandro, when did you start taking medication again?
last week. I think it was on a Thursday, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you having problems with the medication?
No, sir.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel okay.
Okay. Does it kind of make you kind of cloudy, everything kind of dull, or?
No, it makes me like control more of my attitude better.
Okay. So you're taking medication. You understand if I let you go to your mom, you got to keep on taking your medication, right?
Yes, sir.
And if you stop taking it, then what am I going to do?
Keep me here.
I'm going to bring you back here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you don't like what the medication is doing, you have to tell your mom so she can get you to a doctor to change your prescription. Do not just stop taking it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So when your mom calls us, or when we call your mom and ask her about the medication, if she tells us you're just refusing to take it, you're going to end up back here. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and release you. Mom, does he have a history of running away?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, Alejandro. So I'm going to go ahead and release you now. Alejandro, I'm going to say, I don't know if you smoke weed or not, but I'm going to tell you, you cannot smoke weed or use any kind of drugs. The reason why is because any kind of drug has an effect. It's called synergistic. It has an effect that interferes with other drugs. All right.
Yes, sir.
So what happens is if you use things like marijuana, then that affects the drugs that you're taking prescribed and makes it too effective or not effective enough. And it won't be the right balance. So, you know, some kids can do it, some people can do it, and some can't. You just cannot. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Alejandro, don't prove me wrong. All right.
All right. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Judge.
Anthony Harris Jr.
Right here, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm managing this today for Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you. Mr. Harris, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, I'll provide one for you. And
I'm here, Judge.
all right, thank you, Mr. Berger. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Anthony, 15 years old, been here for 30 days. You were on probation for assault, family violence by an impeding breath, which you just got on probation January 7th. February 8th, police were dispatched to domestic. Evidently, you got mad at your mom for rescheduling your probation meeting and drug test. According to mom, she did this because she knew you would fail the drug test. So you got mad, began yelling at mom just to keep the original meeting date. And so evidently you ran through the house, hitting walls, yelling. At one point, you picked up a wooden chair, began hitting yourself in the forehead with it. Kept calling your mom a whore, a slut, and a bitch. Mom said she slapped you twice as discipline. I'm okay with that, Mom. And then you're reported to have shoved your mom into a wall, causing pain in your back elbow and right finger. You were detained, transported here. Then while you're in the car, you start yelling, screaming, and saying you're going to die and upset about going to jail again. You pound your forehead against the plexiglass divider, try to calm you down, but you get upset again. Once you got here at Kimbo, you continue to scream, cry, yell, and hit your head on the wall. And looks like you didn't injure yourself. And you're positive for marijuana. So
Actually, Your Honor, he was
still waiting on
negative.
records from Arlington Behavioral. And you've been on level 1 standing for a month. Well, Anthony, I'm going to lay this out for you. If it was, hold on, I see your hand raised. I'll let you ask me a question in a minute. So had this been one of those, you came in for a drug test on the rescheduled meeting, you were dirty, and I don't know, I may have brought you in, maybe not. I may not even have known about it. Your probation officer may have just let this one slide and referred you to other services. But then you got upset with your mom, you escalated, and the police were called. And that way, pretty much guaranteed you're going to jail. And then you kept on screaming and yelling. And then the cop car, you kept on doing more. And then once you got here, you kept on doing more. So there's no, here's what you don't realize, Anthony, is when you dug yourself into a hole, stop digging. And you just kept on digging. So at this point, you still haven't dug yourself out yet. Yeah, I know you've been level 1 for a little while, but I'm not convinced that if I was to let you go, that you're not going to go in and continue that. Like, I don't know if you've learned from this experience or not. So I'm going to go and detain you for a little bit longer, and we'll see if you can keep it up. But I'm going to let you know, had you only just come in when your mom scheduled this, manned up and owned up to it and be like, Judge, sorry, I made a mistake, you know, we'll work with you. But when you keep on doubling down and making it worse and worse, what really upsets me probably more than anything else is you calling your mom those names. She's the person that's sacrificing for you. She's the one, the money she's spending on you, she could spend on herself. She would like a new car, a new purse, a new phone. There's things that she would like to do that she's not because she loves you. And she is foregoing her benefit to make sure that you can enjoy the work, the fruit of her labor. And the fact you disrespect her like that, you know, the assault on her, that bothers me too. You just dug yourself and you kept on digging. So it just takes longer to dig yourself out when you dig it even further. All right. So I saw your hand was raised. If you have a question for me, I don't mind answering your question. And if you want to tell me something, your attorney does not want you to tell me anything. All right. So do you have a question for me?
Yes. You said I tested positive on the drug test, but they said I tested negative.
Look at the report.
Judge,
Yes, Mr. Berger.
Judge, I believe that he was positive back in December, but at the
Okay.
last, what I'm showing is that he was negative on February 8th.
You are absolutely correct, Mr. Harris. So this last drug test. So here's the irony about all this. Your mom scheduled the meeting. You were upset that you were going to fail a drug test, but you would have been clean. So like all this, like never had to happen. If you just showed up and take your drug test, you would have been clean. Nobody would have known that you smoked weed. But the fact that you escalated it, we all know that you were smoking weed while you're on probation and that you're the one that did everything. Like you put yourself in the situation. You would have been fine had you showed up, right? Which in a way should be really frustrating for you. But Anthony, what I hope you get out of this is a lesson that, you know, when it's time to face the music, you face the music. You know, if you're caught, you're caught. Don't try and fight it and make it worse. Okay. Right. And that's kind of what you should look forward going here as I detain you a little bit longer, is you look at that and be like, you know what? This is what happened. I need to make the best of the situation and move on. And next time, don't make the same mistake again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Mr. Harris. Mom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Breland Jordan. All right, Breland, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Berger, is here. Good morning, Mr. Berger.
Morning, Judge.
All right, so Breland, you referred for evading arrest back in January. Tried to pull a vehicle. This is the one who pulled out of the parking lot and pulled right back in, but you are not being truthful about the father of your child. So all right, so you finally did tell us the name of the father. Okay, Breland, I'm at the point now where I'm not sure I believe you or not. All right, so what I'm going to do is I want to put you under oath. Well, we'll have a separate hearing. I'm going to release you. I'll put you under oath and make you swear that the person you're naming as the father is actually the father. If it turns out you're being deceptive to us, you can pick up a new case for perjury. You understand? Okay, so you're sure Vincent is the father of the child, or
Positive.
I'm sorry?
I'm positive.
Okay, all right, so what we'll do is I'm going to, let's see, Mr. Nava, let's go ahead and bring her in this afternoon. Let's just do like 1 o'clock or something. And then I'll just swear her in as a witness and she can tell us the name of the father of the child. And then what we can do is, if she's lying to us, if it looks like she was willfully deceiving us, then the DA can face aggravated perjury charges, of which, Breland, you can do, well, if it was an adult case, you could do up to 20 years for that lie. Okay, so make sure that you're telling the truth. If that's the case, then I'm okay releasing her on monitor. Do we have mom here or grandma,
Yes.
right? Is it
Yes,
mom?
I'm here.
All right. Are you ready for her to come home?
Yes, sir. I would appreciate it. Yes,
Yeah,
because
I've been wanting to let her go home, but you know, when you're 15 years old and pregnant, you shouldn't be having secrets. She needs to act like a 15-year-old girl, not, you know, a 20-year-old girl.
yes, I understand that, and I'm very hurt about it. But I mean, she needs medical treatment and everything. I wanted to try to get her home to get her the shot, COVID shot and things. So I
Good.
appreciate you.
Okay, no, I appreciate you too. And if she gives you any problems, please let us, Mr. Nava, know, and we'll get involved. Okay.
Okay. So when can I take her home?
Well, we just have to bring her in as a witness and swear in. If Mr. Nava, if you want to find an associate judge, we can do that as well. It doesn't have to be me.
Okay. So this evening.
It could be this morning. Don't even leave the building yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
We'll walk to the front lobby. I'll wait for Mr. Nava, okay?
The next one is Orion Lee.
Morning, Judge.
Morning, Mr. Youngblood. Really only knew how easy it was. What? All right. Mr. Lee, are you here? Orion Lee. Orion Lee. Which pod is Orion Lee in?
He's here, Judge.
What's going on back there today?
They were having a problem with the computer, but it's good now, Judge.
Well, I don't understand why the computer's been on. Like, what's the problem with the computer?
It went down and William had to come up and log back on.
Well, no, I kicked y'all out because somebody there wouldn't stop talking and it was interrupting the rest of court. So I'm just trying to figure out if anything's going on in HPOD that we need upper management to fix.
No, sir, everything's good.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Lee, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days and have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Youngblood as your attorney. And so, Orion, you're 16 years old. You have never been here before. And no, wait. Yeah. All right. So back in February, 911 was called to domestic shooting. Detectives arrived and spoke with your mom, who said she and her husband started to argue about the younger kids. He threatened to beat her and leave her. He came from a room and told him he was not going to touch your mom. And so, who's talking back there?
I don't know his name.
Orion, is somebody in your room talking or right outside the room?
Yeah, they're outside the door.
Can you go up? Can you get up and shut the door? No, I'm telling you to get up and shut the door. I don't care what they're telling you. Thank you, sir. Whose radio is that? Is that there still outside?
Another radio?
Mr. Ansley? Can we do something about this?
I do not. Let me try and get a supervisor on the phone, Judge.
Thank you. All right. So is this, do we have, we don't have a parent here?
Yes, Miss Tasha. She's
Okay,
on.
Tasha. All right. So Tasha, you're the mom? No, who's
Yeah, that's my mom.
That's your mom?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the mom.
All right. So is Naimo his father or stepfather?
Yeah.
Stepfather, okay. So stepdad said, what are you gonna do about it? So you produced a handgun that had a strobe light on it. So everyone thought the gun was fake, but then, so he turned aggressively towards you. They're saying that your mom held him back and told you to leave the house as you were leaving. And only stepdad grabbed you a couple times. Despite mom trying to hold you back, you broke free, pointed the gun over his mother and fired several shots, hitting him in the torso and arms. So mom called 911, gave first aid, and you fled. March 9th, there was a traffic stop. You were a back passenger arrested on warrant. The gun was not recovered. All right, so I'm going to find there's probable cause that the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon occurred. All right, so Orion, I'm going to let you know if this is an adult case, you could be looking at up to 20 years in incarceration. All right, now there may be defenses on this one. That's something that you need to talk to your lawyer about. But straight up, I'm letting you know what the potential offense is. All right. So I know there's a whole lot going on here. I wasn't there. There's a whole lot of information that fills in the blanks that I'm just unaware of. All I know really is part of what's from the police report, okay? At this point, what really worries me is the fact that you were on the run for a month, okay? If it's one of those that in your heart of hearts, you thought that you did everything right, then there's no reason for you to have been on the run for a month. That's the part that's got me concerned. Mom, I see your hand. I'll let you talk in just a second. So that is my biggest, well, that's probably my biggest concern right now is you not returning to court compared to other options. All right, Mom, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, he wasn't on the run for a month. It happened on the 27th.
Well, okay. So 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks?
2.
I mean, the fact that he was on the run. Did you know where he was the whole time?
No, I think he was just afraid.
No, I understand. I totally get it. And that's the thing is, that's the measure of a man is when you are afraid, whether you can do the right thing or do what you want to do or try to avoid like what you're afraid of, right? And that's part of the whole court process, is that there's an accountability, and that's why one of my biggest concerns, what the law says I have to be concerned about, is whether somebody's going to return to court or not. The fact that he was on the run for several weeks, that's got me concerned. Mom, do you know where the gun came from?
No.
Okay.
If I might, Judge, it's actually 10 days that he was on the run.
10 days?
Not that that's critical, but just to make
Yeah.
it clear.
Oh, well, thank you for the clarification. So, Orion, I'm going to hold you here for now. I need to be more comfortable. Mom, I do have a question. In the future, if I considered releasing Orion, is there a place I could release him that's not around your husband?
Yes,
Where would that be?
my mother said he can go to her house,
What county does she live in?
Tarrant.
Tarrant County? Okay. Okay. All right. Orion, I'm concerned that your 16-year-old that has a gun, I'm going to let you know, whenever a kid has a gun, I always hold them at the beginning just to make sure. So, I mean, they may have told you that already. You kind of knew that was coming. But as far as releasing you, that's where the facts really matter. And so this is not an easy one for me. But for me, the fact that you're on the run, that really, that bothers me more than given the situation that you have, okay? So get your behavior level to level 1 outstanding. I'm not going to release you unless you're level 1 outstanding. But show me that you don't belong here, that you belong at home, and then eventually I'll get convinced and release you home, okay? All right, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've also got Mr. Price Tucker, so I'll hang about until you get to him, Your Honor.
Thank you. Camilla Perry. All right, Ms. Perry, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 10 days. Have to decide, or within 2 days, I decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to be silent. You have a right to an attorney. And your attorney is Mr. Houston. Dwayne, are you here?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. All right. So Camilla, you're 16 years old. You have never been here before. Yesterday, Fort Worth PD brought you in. They're saying the police responded to domestic. When they got there, Mom said that you came into a room to talk about a Facebook post. Mom didn't want to talk about it, so she was dealing with something else. So Mom left. So you left the room and slammed the door. And when Mom walked into your room, told you not to slap the door. There was an argument, and evidently you started hitting her, and they both began fighting. Mom's husband broke up the fight, but then you began fighting again with her mother, pulling her hair, hitting in her face with her fist, bit her several times, causing pain, being abusive and disrespectful. Mom was able to restrain you, which is how the police found you. Mom had bite marks on her arms, chest, and legs. Mom indicates it's not the first time y'all been fighting. Last time CPS was involved, family had to do therapy and anger management. Mom says mediation may not be helpful. She thinks you're smoking weed and found traces of weed under your mattress when you were being detained by the police. And Mom is in the waiting room because she showed up late to court. So.
She's there, young.
I'm sorry?
She's person.
Oh, what is this Kendria's phone? Oh, must be somebody else. All right, so Mom, you're here, good. Well, my first question is, you suspect your daughter smoking marijuana?
Yes.
You want us to give her a drug test?
Yes.
Okay.
But I know.
Well, you know. I mean, do you know, did you give a drug test or do you just know?
I just know.
Okay, so let's get some proof. All right, so okay. Mr. Dotson, let's go ahead and get a UA for Ms. Perry. Sure. And then Camille, what you don't understand is sometimes moms just need mom time. Moms can't always be there for everyone else 100% of the time. And if she just says, I just need my time, then you have to respect that and give her time. That's the first thing. Second thing is I need you to understand that parents cannot fight. Your children cannot fight their parents. Your parent has the right under the law to discipline you using physical force. Can't be abuse, but she can use physical discipline. A child does not have the right to defend themselves against that. That's just the law in Texas, all right? And so I can tell you right now that I'm just not happy with it all, that you have the attitude to think that you can disrespect your mom by hitting her and striking back at her. So I think, Mom, it looks to me that Camilla It's just, she just thinks she's way older than she is. And that
I agree.
she, it looks like, wants to make decisions like an adult,
Mm-hmm.
but she wants to behave and get consequences like a child. And I don't agree with that. Camilla, if you want to make adult decisions, I'll treat you like an adult and you get adult consequences. If you want to be treated like a child and get child consequences, then you have to behave like a child, all right? So either you can be a good 16-year-old daughter to your mom and you get treated like a 16-year-old girl does and give an extra kind of, I call it deference. I give you extra grace because you're a 16-year-old girl. But if you're going to make big girl decisions, then you get big girl consequences. And this is what happens with the law when you make big girl decisions. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. All right. I'm going to see what your attitude is like, see if you can behave here at our facility, and if it's something that can be helped. And if you prove to me that I can release you back home in a manner that's safe to both you and your mother, then I'll go and release you. But if you continue to misbehave here and have an attitude and do what you want to do because nobody can tell you better, then you're going to stay here for quite a while. I'm going to let you know this is a misdemeanor level offense. All right, so you cannot go to prison for this one. You cannot go to TJJD, but you can get probation. You can get placement in facilities. If it turns out that you have deep-rooted drug issues or mental health issues, I can't place you in a facility out of state for 6, 9, 12 months at a time and to help you with those issues. So this is probably a good time to start to get your act together and decide that either you're going to be 16 or you're going to act like you're 26. All right, Mom, are we on the same page on this one?
Yes.
I think so. So, all right, Camilla, prove to me that you deserve to go back home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Terrence Tucker.
Were you able to meet with Mr. Dawson before?
I spoke with him briefly.
Okay, if you,
All right, Mr. Tucker, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Youngblood, is here. All right, Terrence, you're 15 years old. You're level 1 outstanding. You're on probation for evading arrest with a motor vehicle. From March of 20, you got on probation in July. In November, you get arrested for stealing a vehicle, which for some reason the DA gave you probation again in January. And then now, Fort Worth PD brought you in. You were evidently driving a vehicle that was stolen. When they tried to pull you over, you got out, began to run. Even though they told you to stop, they deployed a dog. You were bit by the dog and transported to JPS for treatment before you were brought here. This is your 1, 2, 3, 4th referral for evading arrest. 1, 2, 3, 4th referral for stealing cars. So, Terrence, I'm absolutely convinced if I was to release you, you're going to steal more cars and run from the police again. So I'm not going to release you. So I'm ordering you detained. Stephanie, do we have this scheduled for a motion modified really quickly? Like sometimes you just got to cut bait.
He's set on April 5th, Your Honor.
Okay. So Terrence, April 5th, less than a month, we'll decide whether you get commuted to TJJD or you get a second chance or fourth chance on probation.
Judge, I don't know that this is your problem, but Terrence was bitten by police dogs when he was captured. He says he's still got problems with that wound, that it's still bleeding pretty often, and he thinks he needs stitches. He also has strep throat, and he says he's not getting anything except Tylenol for that. And so I wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay. So I guess my question then is, whose is this? Mr. Howard, can you make sure that he sees the nurse? Mr. Youngblood, has your client filled out a yellow sheet?
Well, Mr. Howard says he has. I haven't seen it, of course, but.
Okay. Well, Terrence, did you fill out a yellow sheet?
Yes, sir.
Did you see a nurse?
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but they supposed to be coming later today.
When did you fill out the yellow sheet?
I filled it out this morning.
Well, so why didn't you fill out yesterday or the day before?
Oh no, I did. I've been filling them out every day. They just give me Tylenol because my medicine ran out for my leg.
So the last time you saw the nurse was when?
Yesterday.
And the nurse checked out the dog bite?
Yes, sir.
And what did she tell you?
She gave me Band-Aids and Neosporin to put on there, and I put the Band-Aid on there. I rechange it every day.
He feels that the wound is bigger than a Band-Aid can deal with.
But Mr. Howard, the nurse is saying that that's the recommended treatment, right?
Yes, he went through, I talked to him yesterday. He said he did fill out the slips. I told him that's pretty much the protocol. So the nurse has been checking him out from time to time.
Ms. Youngblood, I just don't know if your client has the medical expertise to know. Terrence, how many times have you been bitten by dogs?
2.
2 times. Yeah, yeah, Ms. Youngblood. I mean, part of me is like you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And then part
I
of me is like,
understand, Your Honor, but he made me aware of this when I talked with him on the phone, and I promised I would bring it to your attention.
Okay.
Because what he was presenting to me was that the nurse disagreed with him, and he
right.
thought they basically just didn't want to send him to a doctor because of the difficulties involved because of COVID. But if he's really got a bleeding wound that won't stop, I wanted to bring it to your attention.
Yeah, Mr. Howard, if you just send the nurse an email just saying, just verify that this does not need further medical attention, like in her medical opinion. And
Yes,
then
I can do that.
We'll defer with what she says.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. Michelle Sosa.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Terrence. All right, Michelle, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Beaver is your attorney.
Good morning.
Michelle, good morning, Mr. Beaver. Michelle, you were here in 2018 when you were 13 years old for an assault case. Juvenile probation gave you a supervisory caution. And then now you're 16. Yesterday, about 5:30, they responded to Jasmine Western Wear, and you were detained. It turned out that you entered Gomez Western Wear nearby, tried to steal a shirt. When confronted, you got angry, slapped an employee, then left. Then went to Jasmine's store, was alerted. You grabbed several shirts, stuffed under your clothes, passed all points of sale. Officers found the stolen clothes and the assaulted victim from the first store, confirmed that Michelle was the person who assaulted her. At the end, you refused commands to get in the police car and turn around. They tried to take you in custody. You fought, had to be restrained, cuffs, brought here for assault, bodily injury, theft, $100 to $750, and resisting arrest. And you're positive for marijuana and benzodiazepines. Your parents are at the hospital since your mom recently had transplant surgery. We don't have a parent here. So I have a question. So Mr. Beaver and Ms. Mowdy, I'm curious, or any other attorney. So you have robbery, which is taking property using force. But then if you don't actually take property, but you try to and use force, that's attempted robbery. If you attempt to use force, but you're taking property, but don't actually use force, that's attempted robbery. But what if, I'm just hashing this out. It's a law school question, right?
Judge, my understanding case law is reflected that if you attempt to take an item and you use force, but you're unsuccessful in obtaining the item, a robbery was still committed.
What if you dish the items before you use force? Like you abandon, I think this is a law school question, right?
I think you're right.
I don't know. Either way, Michelle, your parents aren't here and you just escalated things. I'm not sure why you are even out and about when your parents are at the hospital because of your mom's surgery. So I'm just not good releasing at this point. We'll reassess this one, Mr. Beaver. Get in contact with the parents. We'll figure out if they can offer adequate supervision. I'm really curious about where she was supposed to be when mom had just finished surgery. I'm really concerned about how her school has been, like what her pattern of behavior has been lately. Michelle, I'm open to the idea of releasing you, but I'm not going to release you if you're going to just, if it just allows you to keep on doing what you've been doing. Also, Mr. Beaver, I'd be very curious about whether she has a prescription for Xanax or not, or if she's illegally using benzodiazepines.
Well, Your Honor, I did speak with the mother and she does have prescriptions. I believe that her father is going to take the prescriptions and the necessary paperwork down to the Kimbo today. And I will follow up with respect to where she should have been and how she's doing in school, Your Honor.
Right. Okay. And Michelle, just as a final note, just so you know, these offenses, the misdemeanors, you cannot go to TJJD for. So the resisting arrest or the, well, let's see. Yeah, the resisting. Yeah, all these are misdemeanors. Resisting arrest, the assault, bodily injury, and the theft of property. However, if the DA decides to file these as a robbery charge, you could be looking at commitment to the Texas Juvenile Justice Department up until your 18th birthday. If it turns out that when you're resisting the police, that one of the police officers was injured at all, even like a scratch, that you could be looking at assault on public servant, that you could get committed to the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. What you have to realize is nothing is so bad in life that you can't make it worse. If all this is true, you took a bad situation, you just made it worse and made it worse and made it worse and made it worse. You kept on making it worse. Hopefully it wasn't worth it. But anyways, Michelle, I just want to let you know that this at this point isn't that serious, but it could get pretty bad pretty quick. All right. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Beaver. Micaiah Walden. You know, we've been doing this for over a year. You would think we could get the kids lined up right. Sorry? Is it? You have new staff? All right, Micaiah, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When kids, you've been here for 10 days, deciding whether to keep you or release you. By keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days. Your loved one outstanding, good, for 3 days. And you have all this history. 2019, assault public servant, which you got probation for. You got arrested for criminal trespass later, theft of property, stealing a car, which got added to your probation. A month later, assault. 4 months later, let's see. So now we're here. February 9th, we issued a warrant for removing your electronic monitor and leaving home without permission. You turned yourself in, which is good. And February 24th, I will be detained until we can figure out placement. So where are we on the placement process?
Yes, she's still scheduled to go to placement in April. They anticipate a bed sometime in April, but they're still reporting that a bed is not available at this time.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I remember this. All right, Micaiah. All right, so, Ms. Burrell, why did she drop down from level 1 outstanding?
When I looked this morning, she was still level 1. She dropped for a day. It was for being disrespectful to staff, as well as yelling profanity when she was instructed to get up, arguing, with staff in class, and talking to staff while in the shower.
Micaiah, I just want to make sure you understand something. This placement, I am placing you because I'm trying to help you. But if you convince me that I can't help you or you don't want my help, the placement's not guaranteed. I can change my mind. So either you do what you need to do to get the chance that you're asking for, which is placement, or just let me know that you're not going to do it, you don't want it, and we'll just do a motion to modify hearing to see if you need to go to TJJD or not. It's really just that simple. You're either asking me for the chance, and if you show me that you deserve the chance, we'll do it. But if you're telling me to give up on you, I will give up on you. Right? I can't help people. I can't help kids that don't want to be helped. If that's what your message to me is that you don't care what I think, you don't care what anybody thinks, so you're going to do what you're going to do, just let me know. Save us all some time. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you, but this is really, I'm pretty much at the end of my rope with you. I know you're level 1 outstanding now, but you don't need to do these shenanigans where you keep on dropping down. Right? Don't push me is what I'm saying. Because at a certain point, I'm just going to give up. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. I'm not going to let you go because we got to wait for placement, and it's going to start the search again if I let you go. All right, thank you, Micaiah. Felicity Willingham.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'll be covering from P.O. Castillo
All right,
today,
thank
Your
you,
Honor.
Mr. Goldberg. All right, Felicity, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Okoye, is not here, but Ms. Mills is going to step in and fill in for her. Hello, Amy.
Hi, Judge.
Okay, according to the report, let's see, Felicity, you've been here January for an assault bodily injury, and then we let you go. But did we let her go? No, she's been here the whole time. All right, so this is from January. Let's see, mom said you're a habitual runaway and ran away from Aunt's house, was gone for 3 hours. Aunt's given up
Do it.
because of a fight that happened on New Year's.
This is about to happen.
Tracy,
No, just
Tracy. Thank you. And so when mom arrived, you were upstairs laying in the bed, told the mom you're not going with her, she grabbed your leg and you kicked her in the leg, hit her in the face 3 times, pulled her straight over here. Mom, police basically said you said the same thing except mom hit you first. Do we have a parent here?
No, Your Honor.
Has mediation even been considered?
No, Your Honor. Due to the fact that client, the last time client was here, she was released at her when she was placed on probation to go stay with the aunt. Then this event, aunt had enough. Mom is saying that she can't control her, and so she's actually being resource staff as we speak. And court is set for March 30th.
Felicity, has your mom or aunt or anybody been calling you while you're here?
Yes, they have.
Okay. Are you trying to rebuild those bridges?
Yes, I actually been talking to my aunt and my mama, and they both saying, my mama saying that she doesn't want me in her house, she want me at my aunt's house. So I've been trying to call my aunt and ask her, and she said if I get released to her, then we're gonna have to have a talk.
Yeah. So, Felicity, look, there's some decisions that you made that weren't good decisions, okay? And I'm not talking about necessarily this case, but overall, right? In the past, there were some bad decisions made. It is not their responsibility to heal those wounds, okay? Because I'm pretty sure, and this has nothing to do other than the fact that you're a teenage girl, and teenage girls can be mean, they can be rude, like I get it. I had a little sister, okay? So I'm putting this on you, that it is your job to try and rebuild those bridges, to heal those wounds, to develop the relationships, okay? And this is just part of what every teenage girl goes through, right? Ms. Mills, I agree. When you were 15, you had some bridges to build back up, right?
Yes, I would agree.
And Felicity, it's not just about you, but every woman that you talk to will tell you that they had something similar where there's, and I don't know about similar like your individual case, but I'm just saying in general, a lot of things are said, but they don't mean. A lot of things are done that they don't mean. And later on, they kind of grow up and realize, I was wrong. And so I know there are things like that, but that's every 15-year-old girl in the world, okay? So what I'm just telling you is try and rebuild those bridges, try and develop those relationships because you were in the wrong. Not necessarily about the assault, but there's something else, right? And so I'm putting that on you. Life is kind of putting that on you that it's kind of your responsibility to do that. You've got to make an effort. They don't have to forgive you. What happens is they want to forgive you. Just give them a reason to forgive you, okay? All right, so Felicity, right now I can't release you, but keep on building those relationships on this phone call. So yes, you have a question.
Yes, is it any way that my court date can move up earlier than the 30th?
Oh, so I don't know. That's kind of a big dance we do here. We have 3 judges for all the cases that we have, but we've got hundreds and hundreds of kids, and the attorneys have their own schedules, and they're dealing with dozens and dozens of courts. So it's we try and make it as soon as possible, but a lot of times the court date is set because that's the first date that could be fit. Okay. If it makes you feel better, For all the courts in Tarrant County, we set them the fastest. And then of all the juvenile courts across the state, we're setting them the fastest. So you're better off in Tarrant County than anywhere else right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's on March 30th, so it's 20 more days, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot, Ms. Mills.
That's okay.
Sorry to trigger a bad emotional memory from junior high.
Well, I also have a 13-year-old daughter, remember, so yeah.
Oh, so Daniel Martinez. Atticus. And we have a mud blind still.
And Your Honor, I apologize. I was trying to balance two hearings. I'm so sorry. I thought I was muted on yours.
No, it's okay. It's well.
It's been a morning, as you know.
Okay, so do we have a mod blonde? We're gonna go to Bland first. Ahmad Bland. All
And
right.
Your Honor, I
Yes.
apologize. His mother is texting me saying that she's in the waiting room if you wanted her to attend.
Now she's late. I mean,
Understood.
And I'll be covering for P.O. Lemire on this case as well.
Thank you. All right, Ahmad, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here. Let's see, when kids brought in, you see a judge. Man, aren't you tired of seeing me yet? You gotta be tired of seeing me. Tired. So you're 15. Let's go back. I go over your history every single time, right?
No.
And so this started when you were 12 years old with an evading arrest from the police. You got probation for that. And you were also arrested for aggravated robbery, but that was dropped. So then you turn 13, you get arrested for stealing a car and violating your probation because you were arrested for stealing a car. The DA dismissed the stealing the car. So now you are 13 still, you get arrested for evading arrest again, which you got probation for. So you had probation for evading arrest, and you're found guilty of evading arrest again while you're on probation, but you still got more probation. You violated probation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, but they kept you on probation. And now, 3 days after your 14th birthday, you get arrested for stealing another car, which the DA dismissed that one. And then 3 months later, you get arrested for robbery, which you then got probation for. In March of 2020, so at this point you are 14, get arrested for another evading arrest, stealing another car. They dismissed the evading arrest, but added the probation on the stealing the car, so you got probation again. And so you are on probation for what? Robbery, 2 counts of evading arrest, and 1 count of stealing a car. So here we are. 4th PD responded for a stolen car call, saw a stolen vehicle sitting in front of Smokies. Police got there, vehicle was seen leaving Smokies, so they kept on watching. Vehicle parked, they saw you leave the driver's seat, and they kept on watching the vehicle. And you walked to the shopping center, kept on watching you, officers came on scene, and then you were taken custody for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. So when they asked for your name and date of birth, you said it was Andrew Williams. They asked you several times, and you kept on giving the same information. They asked for your parents' name to confirm identity. You gave 2 separate sisters, which did not work. Found 1 sister listed for your mother. Police contacted mom, who advised them that your true name and date of birth, and you had a robbery warrant out for your arrest, and jail would be good for you. So they checked, saw the warrant. They told you that they talked to your mom, knew who you were, then became belligerent, cussed at the officers, and said, "Just take me to jail." And since you knew you had a warrant and gave false information, they charged you with failed to ID as a fugitive on top of the unauthorized use of motor vehicle. So what is this robbery warrant that we're talking about? Mr. Lemire?
Your Honor, we submitted a progress report because we received 2 out of custody referrals back in February the 4th. And we submitted a progress to the courts. We had an administrative hearing on the 24th of February, asking the courts to see if we can possibly release him. Could he remain in the community on EM while pending these new violations? This court approved. However, the next day, client left home without permission and a DTA was issued.
All right. So you've already done placement at Woodward Academy. That's we completed. Ahmad, you know, generally the rule of thumb is when a kid comes in, there's usually some kind of community program, diversion. The next time you come in, it's probation. Next time it's placement. Next time it's typically it's just commitment to TJJB. So we'll see. But at this point, I'm not even worried about the failed to ID and UMD. He's got the robbery case. So Stephanie, let's go ahead and set this pretty quickly. Ms. Keen, this Julie's case. Yeah, Julie, we're gonna set this. I want to give you notice. Like, it won't be right at 10 days, but it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be within the next couple of weeks. Set this on a motion to modify.
Understood.
All right, and that way, Ms. Mowdy, I think you can have notice too that we're gonna be setting this one pretty quick. Whoever's assigned to this case, I think it is. Yeah, there's no prosecutor assigned yet. All right. All right, Ahmad, so I'm detaining you and make the best decision you can. I'm the one that's deciding whether you violate your probation or not. So try and impress me while you're back there. Thank you, Mr. Blank. All right, so at this point, these proceedings have been broadcast to the public to give public meaningful access to public courtrooms. However, since the Family Code Chapter 54.08 says that when children are under the age of 14, court hearings are presumed to be closed to the public unless the court finds the best interest of the child or the best interest of the public to open the hearings. I'm now going to discontinue the YouTube live stream. Please wait for about a 30-second tape delay. Tape delay. Hang up the phone. Or my phone's ringing. When's the last time somebody actually heard a phone like a bell ring? Remember that with the little vibrating thing inside the phone? Oh, yeah. Oh, there's like YouTube videos on kids trying to figure out how to use a rotary phone.